I want to do a quick thing about cases, specifically cases for carrying picks in. I have mostly Sparrows stuff in here, but I have Mad Bobs also. This was my original bought kit. I don't know what model of Southward it was. It wasn't the cheapest one. At one time it was populated with a lot of picks on both sides and tension tools. It was a pretty good kit. The zipper messed up on it. So it still works. You can use like rubber bands on either side to hold it together. But the main purpose that separates these cases from any other kind of, or most other kind of cases is, here's an example of a Maglite flashlight. You would think that, hey, it's about the same size as these other ones, but your picks are loose in the top and thin and slippery, and they'll fall out and you'll lose them. So even though this looks like it might be a good thing, you'd have to improvise some cover. You don't have to improvise because they also make them with covers. This is another cheap example. I don't remember how much it was, but it was pretty cheap. It even has a little belt loop for those of you who want a belt loop. It's kind of extra long for picks, but again, you know, like the rubber band here, you can use it as a substitute if you don't have any other case, you know, to use it on. This case right here, let me skip this one. This is the Mad Bob case. I'll talk about it. This case right here is pretty small, and I used it smaller than the Tuxedo case. It doesn't have an extra flap down there. I believe it came with an expansion kit or a starter kit, a kickstart that I got from Sparrows. It's a nice little case. It has a sturdy back in there to help keep it somewhat rigid. And as usual, this one I've actually depopulated a lot. It's kind of but that's way too many. It should be like 8, maybe 10 picks and tensions tools that you carry with it. So you don't really need a huge size, but I'm an amateur at a lot of this stuff, carrying, you know, picks and stuff. So this one is the Mad Bobs. I tend to carry too much is what I was trying to say. This is the Mad Bobs case right here. Bosnia Bill did a review on it, and he was really ranting and raving about the case. Now, I didn't buy the exact same kit. He had the Mad Bob's first kit. I don't remember what it is. Sorry about that. But this one I got was the Ghost Pro hook and rake set, and it was slightly different on their website in that it didn't have the metal reinforcing thing on the bottom, but it did have rivets on either side. What I like about the rivets are you're carrying metal things, and some of them are quite sharp. I've actually poked through the bottom of some nylon with a pick. So if they were going to put a metal plate like the other one said, Mad Bob, over here, what would be better is kind of like a horseshoe thing that reinforces the bottom, kind of like you would do on a bayonet or something else. You would want to protect yourself from getting jabbed by the top of it. Now, there's nothing you can do up here with a metal reinforcement, I mean, but hopefully it won't fall on your pick like fall on your sword. Anyway, the comment I wanted to make about this new Mad Bob case is it's almost the same as this is the one that came from the Dangerfield Serenity kit, which is a copy of the Mad Bob one, and they say, well, this is a cheaper one. Well, you know what? Mad Bob is getting a lot closer. The webbing is a little bit thicker, but he's getting a lot closer to the cheaper ones. And I don't understand that when this is also a Sparrows Sherman case. Mad Bob again, Bosnia Bill again commented, look at this, they add a little paracord. This is what I really like about when manufacturers take that little extra step. They didn't have to do that. Well, guess what? I guess they were watching his videos and they don't do that anymore. I added my own. again, like on this Mad Bob case right here, Bosnian Bill was raving. He said, normally I don't talk much about a case is a case, but this one is really extra special. Guess what? You don't get that anymore. And if you go to their website, they'll say that 2 are available, at least when I was up there. You go to choose either color, black or green, and they're both sold out. Currently, they don't have them. So I believe he's switching to a different type of case. On their zombie kit, they're going with an aluminum case. Maybe they're going to go with something like that. But the main thing is, the ones that I have narrowed down that I like, since I tend to carry too many picks, this one right here, the Sparrow's case, is about wine up. It's a tuxedo case, but it's in coyote. And for some reason, the material feels a lot more like the cotton canvas and stuff, even though it is a nylon base. And this one here is the creeper set. I've taken the backing here that glows in the dark out of it because it's thicker. And again, I've depopulated that one. I tend to carry too many picks. Like I said, I don't want to be up on a lock and not have my stuff and have to go back to where my backpack is or base camp or whatever and go pick up a pick that I already have. I want to be able to defeat a lock right there that I need to get into, and I don't have my stuff with me. I have to go somewhere else. It's crazy. The whole thing is to have it with you. That's another reason why I'm going to go with something like a Mad Bob's jackknife set, or it can be a Southward, or even one of the Chinese copies. That way you don't have to worry about losing picks, which I tend to drop. If you got too many, you can pull this out and stuff will fall down. Sometimes when you're in a working environment, the thing can fall down, and it's a good thing you're not using plastics picks, because you can use a magnet to retrieve them when they fall down in little cracks that you can't move machinery to get to. Another thing that you can think about as a possibility are the fold-out cases, is like needle file cases. You can take the needle files out and put picks in there, and then you have a little fold-out thing. Again, it's plastic. It's cheap. You can get a whole set for, I don't know, it's pretty cheap, less than $5 at any place. And then there's your case. This one I really like a lot for like a home base type of thing, or a tool shop, because it folds out and it can take almost every piece of extra stuff that you've got. These other cases here are good for shipping and storage, like eyeglass cases and stuff like that, but they're not really good for carrying on you. This one also gets a little bit big, but it's more like a little briefcase. So once again, for the pros and the people that can narrow it down, you can go with a little smaller case, such as a Sparrow's tuxedo with the double areas where you can add things to it, is really enough room for most people. I mean, it's just me and my problem with liking to have a lot of gadgets. And again, once it's not always you could be down to a paper clip. I started off picking locks with paper clips, bobby pins, toothpicks, until I discovered that at first you could not get these. You had to be a licensed locksmith or military or police. So these were restricted items back in the days. Now it's pretty easy to get them. And they realize a lot of people pick locks not because they're burglars, but because they maybe are aspiring locksmiths, or they just like it as a sport, which is, in my case, I find it a challenge to open up locks and to learn different things. And you don't want to stagnate, I mean, you want to learn new things. Speaking of shipping containers, a toothbrush holder is an excellent shipping container for an individual pick if you want to send it to someone. That one is going to be going overseas to England. I'll put it in another case, like cardboard, but there you go, something cheap. It's durable. It's much like the Peterson's hard case for shipping stuff. The Chinese also do an excellent case of using a reusable plastic case with a foam insert, and it protects the item that was shipped in. Of course, this is a tubular lock, and it's a clear plastic one, so you don't want it scratched, and you can store it in that. And if you want to use it for something else, you can use it for something else. But anyway, sorry to take take too long on this. It's not completely extensive. I don't have everybody's case out here. I do have a representative example. I tend to go with the ballistic nylon type of stuff or the military webbing or repurposing items for use. Anyways, that's my little thing over here. And I was in England. Alright. Thank you very much, and I hope you didn't get seasick as I wandered around with this handheld camera.